without further ado, let me give this man a proper intro. First of all, Cleveland Terry is absolutely has been exploding on YouTube in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 years. Does that sound about right?
Considering I've only been on for 3 years, yes.
Okay, so and I've been watching you for at least 2 years now. Okay, and I'll tell you, it has gotten to the point where you, I mean, and I hope your CPM goes up from this, and I hope that the advertisers are watching right now. I have made decisions on gear and on strategies with my business based on the content in your videos. I keep looking to my left because that's where he's at in my camera. I'll fix that in just a second. But I hats off to you. Mr. Cleveland Terry has built up quite an incredible establishment on his YouTube, all in conjunction with running a multi-op mobile DJ business. And now, in the wake of COVID-19, has started a weekly broadcast where he's tackling the tough subjects every day. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest, probably of highest celebrity to date on this show. So don't mind my fanboying for a second. The one and only Mr. Cleveland. I don't have a clap sound effect. The one and only Mr. Cleveland Terry, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's funny because, in all honesty, I'm not that guy. So when people talk about me in a way that it's like, oh, he's this guy and he's this guy, I'm just like, I'm just your average guy, just trying to like make content and be relevant and do the things I need to do. So it's always weird to me when I get people that, you know, obviously know what I'm doing and stuff, but respect it, because I just put my head down and just keep working.
Well, I'm sure I speak for a lot of people, and I'm obviously an impartial stance on this. I don't have anybody backing me on these words, okay? So I will tell you right now, the key influencers when I'm looking at buying DJ gear, or if I'm looking into things DJ related, it's your channel, it's Mojax over at DJ City, it's Phil over at Digital DJ Tips, and it's my man, I forgot his name, over at Crossfader. Those are probably my main... What's his name?
Jamie Hartley?
Yeah, him, yes. Y'all cats are probably like the A-team right now, okay? Like the go-tos, like in my YouTube subs, as far as resources go. So you should very much put yourself... Word up. And I'm sure I'm not alone here, man. So big up to you, dude. Seriously, I appreciate your humble stance, and that's obviously very respectable. But I will toot your horn for you, man. You've accomplished a lot in the last couple of years, and up until COVID, you were also doing it while running a multi-op DJ business. So big up to you, man. That's not an easy thing to do. Props.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So without getting too heavy into it, because I've heard your background, but a lot of people here have not heard your background, I like to call it the elevator pitch. Okay. What is the Cleveland Terry elevator pitch right now? Who are you? Who is Cleveland Terry?
Cleveland Terry is, honestly, Cleveland Terry is a regular guy with a nose and a mind for overanalyzing things. Cleveland Terry is a negative person first. Anytime I look at something, I always look at the negative first, and then I look at the positive. That's just the way I've always lived my life. So that's why I even got into this. I got into this because I had a lot of friends asking me all the time, hey, what do you think about this? Can you help me with this? Can you do this? Can you do that? And just like, sure. And this was, I only started this channel about 3 years ago. So when I started this channel, it had nothing to do with actually DJing and DJ gear and all that stuff. It had to do with the fact that I needed a way to be creative. I needed an outlet. And because before we started this company, we had a hip hop group called Check 1 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
sick.
We got signed. Yeah, we got signed and everything, had a full band. We're, all over the place, LA based band. And then you get signed and then something happens, your deal falls apart. And then you're left going, what do? We spent the last 6 years building this album. Do we stop? Do we keep going? So we just kind of opted to take a break. Meanwhile, even though I was working full time, I was also an MC at a bar mitzvah company in LA. So I was doing that every single Saturday. And then at a certain point, my partner...
That's a good way to build connections in the events industry.
It was. And the only reason why I even decided to do it was my partner. I left. I was a DJ and an MC for this company for 10 years. I decided to leave. I got married. My wife was a farmer rep. I had a full-time job, so I didn't really need the extra money at that point. But then as I continued to work for this company, I was in municipal revenue enhancement. So I just literally audited local government. And I got to a certain point where you could just tell that there was no upward mobility. So then my partner just said, hey, I'm thinking about going off my own. I'm going to bring this guy in and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, tell me a little bit more about what you're trying to do. And then he explained it, and I'm just like, why didn't you ask me? And he's like, I just didn't think you'd want to do it. I'm like, of course I want to do it. This is something that we can build. So we said, okay. And then literally for the next, 6 years, I worked a full-time job. I had all of my meetings after work. So I worked from 8 to 5. Then I get into my car, drive out to LA where all the clients were, spend from like 5 until 10 o'clock at night. Then I'd come home, wake up, do the same thing over and over again. And that was for like 6 years straight, including the Saturdays where I worked. So,
wow.
Yeah. And so basically at a certain point, I was just like, okay, I love what's going on with the company, but I don't feel creative at all. And you're a musician, you're a producer, you understand.
Yeah.
When you don't have that creative outlet, everything else suffers in your life. And
even the output of what you're doing for commerce. If you're
exactly
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically I kind of just said, I got to start doing something. So I started, just doing kind of tech reviews, just little things in there. Hey, I got this lapel mic. Let's talk about that. And then I said, hey, let's do some gig logs. We have all these gigs. Let's do it. I was watching all these other people, the DJ bars and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey, let me see if I can do that. Started doing that. And
I'll comment on this real quick, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But I am that guy that scrolled all the way down to your first videos on your YouTube. And so, yeah, I see the mobile phone reviews. I see you trying to figure out where you fit, and then I see you find your lane, and then I see your video quality getting better. I see paying more attention to the story element, and like it just like this the transition from Terry doing mobile phone reviews to Cleveland Terry that it has become is totally there on your timeline of videos, and I appreciate you for leaving that up like that, because a lot of folks.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I leave it up, because I think that people need to see the growth. I think people need to understand that nothing I'm doing is magical. All I'm doing is, look, my ability to analyze a product, yeah, maybe that's special because I can just see things in it that other people maybe gloss over. But it's not something that your average person couldn't do. That's just one part of it. I think my strength is actually what a lot of people considered my weakness when I first started. And that was, you talk too much. You're too wordy. Get to the point. And I was like, look, the only way people are going to understand what I'm talking about, they're really going to absorb it, is if there's a story behind it. So I've spent all of my things always talking about stories. There's a story involved in everything. And that's actually what I said that twice. That's what improved like my gig logs, because at first it was a gig log. This is what we're doing. Okay, Let's do this. Camera here, camera there, everywhere. Okay, we're done. Bye. And then I started watching other people. For instance, like Peter McKinnon, perfect example.
Great videos.
And yeah, wonderful, just amazing visuals. But more importantly, every single thing he did had a story. And then I started realizing it's not just about the action of doing the gig log. You need to have a story that starts it and that ends it, so people can connect both sides of it. So I always
think as
make it a point to tell a story.
I think as DJs, and like if you made mixtapes or anything like that, that kind of mentality of storytelling over a period of time, or having this mean something as a whole, is already embedded in you. So you naturally are seeing yourself, yes, this is an improvement that I see myself needing. And then basically I see that. Awesome.
Yeah. But it's the same way. It's the same way I DJ. I think even in anything you do, there should be a story. If there's no story, people can't connect with it. So even if you're not even using words, if it's just emotions through the mixes, going up, going down, just being a DJ, you know. And it always bothers me when I watch DJs, and a lot of DJs don't understand when I'm just like, you're just playing songs. Like, what do you mean? It's like there's nothing connecting any of the things you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, the songs are good, but I am not connected to you. You know, and there's good DJs. You're on the journey with them because they're telling a story musically. So that's always been the way I've kind of approached life. And then I started realizing as I was making my gig logs, because I would make them, and then as I was making them, I'd realize, oh, here's the story. The story's not here. The story's over here. And then I would basically edit up my videos to support the new story I was making, because I was all into the whole, okay, it's got to be exactly the way it happened at the gig. And everyone's like, no. The most important part is that people can absorb it, can understand it, are entertained by it. You know, if they're not entertained, what's the point? And gig logs take a long time to make. There's a lot of footage, there's a lot of editing. So if you're going to do it, I want to get the maximum coverage. But fast forward, because I was doing gig logs at first, and I was doing a lot of them, and I thought they were good, but there was no traction because it's funny. It's like the only person that I feel actually gets good gig log traction is DJ Bar. DJ Bar, maybe Rick Webb. Like, they'll get 10 to 20,000 views on a gig log. Like, that's like unheard of. So when I was doing my gig logs, it was like, 400 views, 500 views, if that. And I'm just like, I'm spending a lot of time doing these gig logs, and I'm not seeing anything out of them. But I knew the quality was more important. So
I think the story on YouTube also in the past like 5 years has shifted from straight documentary footage to more of how-to and expose pieces, like the truth about this kind of stuff.
Right.
And this new piece of gear is worth checking out because kind of stuff, or learn how to do this. You know what I mean? Like those are what is becoming like what gets real traction on YouTube these days.
No, you're 100% right. And like I did the one about the Instagram one where I finally said stop streaming to Instagram, and that one did huge. But what I started to do, because I like doing the gig logs, is supplement them with gear stuff. So then I started talking. That's when I started doing those my thoughts videos.
Yep.
And in all honesty, I had no idea that people really wanted to hear my thoughts, because I'm like, I need content this week. So I would throw it up and just kind of go. And then all of a sudden it's like, there's a lot of numbers behind these my thoughts videos. So I even did a poll, like, what do you guys want to see? And I threw it my gig log, my thoughts, gear reviews, and my thoughts was like the first one on the list.
Yep.
So I started doing more of those. And then, by the way, I like your shirt. And then
big up Kova, where you at, bro?
And then I started figuring, well, some of these times when I don't have enough material or something that came out and maybe it really wasn't that big of a deal, but I wanted to talk about it, that's when I started doing my news ones, where I would do like 3 or 4 topics. That way I could get it all in. People felt like I'm all about making sure that when people click on my video, they get something from it. If they're not getting anything from it, I'm not going to post a video. So I'm about helping the community. That's just the way I roll to a certain extent. I always
love
tell
what
people,
you're doing for the community. One thing that you've mentioned in your show recently is you find yourself referring a lot of your audience to your videos as a resource when they ask you questions that you've already answered in your videos. And you're starting to feel like nobody's watching your videos because you're referring people to your videos so often when they're asking you questions that you just put a video out for, or that you put a video out for 2 weeks ago. Where were you when I put this video out, kind of thing.
Right.
And I wanted to touch on that because I'm not sure if you're familiar with somebody named Devin Nash. Devin Nash is a streamer on Twitch, and he's very awesome on insight when it comes to things like this, because he's also come to this, run into this. And he came to a conclusion, and I wanted to share this with you. And he says that you have to consider that no matter how amazing of a resource you become, the sad truth is that some people just want you to do it for them.
Right.
And so, like, you cannot twist yourself in a circle thinking that nobody's watching your videos when you're constantly referring these people to them as a resource. The bottom line is that the majority of the people that are asking you for this are people who, are maybe not willing to work hard enough in order to achieve the things that they're striving to achieve. And that,
which is a lot of people.
It's a lot of people out there, right?
Yeah.
So don't let. I saw the frustration. I lurk your show at a scary level. I saw the frustration when you were talking about that, and I saved that comment. I was going to post that comment on your at that moment, but I saved it for the time that we can have a one-on-one because it's.
Gotcha,
I figured I'd
gotcha.
relay that a message for you.
You know what? It's actually the funny thing about me is on first meeting me, I can be kind of an asshole, not in a bad way. Just I don't do BS, so for a lot of people, I can be abrasive. And my partner says this all the time. He goes, "I know you, but when you say these things, you kind of look like an asshole." I'm like, okay, but it's who I am. It's either you accept me for who I am or you don't. But I can only be who I wear everything. Which is why I don't like doing product reviews for stuff that's crappy. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I want to make sure that it's something of value, but I know that I knew I was getting, and I knew I was getting annoyed too. So I tried to take a step back mentally, but there was a lot going on that day, especially with all the other stuff that was going on. But I understand. That is one of my weaknesses is, sometimes being gracious to people where it's like, because look, some things you really could find out just by Googling.
Absolutely.
Like some things I say are not really like groundbreaking. It's, hey, I did the same thing. I have people right now that call me, "Hey, can you help me out with something?" Sure. And they talk to me and I'm like, and I literally Google exactly what they're saying, like verbatim, hit the search button and it comes. I'm like, "Is this what you were looking for?" Yeah. Okay. Well,
I know people, and there might be a few of them in this chat, that is their actual job. That is their occupation, is they work in an office and they're like the magical tech liaison for the office. And all that they're doing is fielding the questions, Googling how to do it, and then turning around and doing it for these people in the office. And all of a sudden they're the magical tech liaison that knows the answers to everything.
Exactly. Yeah. That's me. That's me. And, and I've talked to I've had serious Twitch guys. I can't figure out how to do this. I'm having all these problems. It's on a PC and I'm like, I don't even use PC, but let me see what I can find out for you. And I Google does this work for you? He goes, that was it. You should be telling me, you're the PC guy. I'm a Mac guy. I have no idea about the PC world, but I see it said do it for free. It's my full-time job. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to figure out how to monetize some of these things because for some people, it just feels like, I think you need to pay me just because, just to not so much to hurt you, but to penalize you for these things that you should know.
Yeah.
I had one.
Go ahead.
I had one guy on this one group, this company they're like, we want to hire you to help us consult us on streaming to Instagram. And I'm like, guys, I've already told you don't stream to Instagram. It's done.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, how much do we need to pay you for you to tell us? Can you give us your contacts in there? I'm just like, you know what? Fine. You want to pay me so I can tell you another time that you can't do it. It's impossible, but whatever. So I'm still working through that. I do want to figure out a way to monetize some of these things, but I'm just not there yet. Besides, there's so many other things that I got going on right now that it's kind of hard to dedicate that. I'm doing a lot. I'm trying to figure out how to not do a lot, and I keep adding more stuff to the mix. I don't know why.
and all this time, Check 1 2 is just sitting in the proverbial oven, ready to go. So I mean, you got that on the. Go ahead.
And it's on the back burner. It's dead. I mean, literally, I get off of my show, and then I go answer event cancellation emails and phone calls, and then I hang up, and then that's it for the day. I haven't gotten we've gotten a couple of small bookings here and there, but as far as really the way we used to, I mean, I'm not like Jason Jenai, we're doing 2,000 events. That's insane. But we were pretty good. I mean, we're doing 500 events a year, which is
Killing
good,
it.
especially for us. Yeah, especially in this industry, in this area. So
how many operations did you have going on a weekend? Would you say? How many DJs would you send out?
We would send out somewhere between 7 and 8
Crushing,
every
bro.
single Saturday night.
Crushing, bro.
Yeah. It was a tough one. It was a tough one and look, we know it's coming back. This is the hard part of what's going on, because it's literally like we're frozen. We're frozen. But just if you look 8 months away, there's like 150 parties that are on the books waiting to go. We just can't touch them. It's just weird.
Yeah,
I think we're unemployed, but we're not unemployed. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, we're in this weird spot where we're illegal right now. It's just,
Yes.
let me reach out to the chat real quick. Big up to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. I'm not meaning to not acknowledge y'all more often. It's just an amazing conversation we're having right now. TFTIHQ says they'll take that job. Sign me up, right? Ross B says that's his job. Curly Roller says I'm not even in tech and that's what I do. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's amazing. Big up to Mistake 916. Big up to From the Annex, Librarians in the House. Big up Rude Boy Soldier. Rude Boy Soldier also providing the background music tonight. Appreciate that, bro. Big up to Joshua Carl. Joshua Carl's a ninja. We got a lot of ninjas. A lot of ninjas in the room tonight. Big up Man Like Deeps. Man Like Deeps show is amazing. If you're not following Man Like Deeps, you're late and you need to do it right now. No Use for Anger is stream tech for our community, big time. He's always there to help us out. So when he says that that's what he does all the time, he's not lying. He's been under the hood for several streams in our social circles. Big up to DJ Circle Entertainment. I appreciate 6 months at Tier 1. I'll comment on DJ Circle Entertainment in just a moment. Big up Digital Napes. Gabe Xavier, 7 months at Tier 1. That's a day one number, bro. Thank you so much. 7 months. That's right around when we started. So thank you so much, man. Appreciate that.
Good for you.
Appreciate that. We had a lot of love. T-Bone just followed. Thank you so much. And big up to all those who followed. If your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. This is called DJs Not DJing. If you're enjoying it, we do it every single Wednesday. Basically around 9:16 p.m. East Coast time, 6:16 p.m. West Coast time. And this is what we do. It's like hanging out at the record shop if you're from that era. And according to my stats, a lot of you are. And basically we sit around and we talk some shop. And right now we're getting to know one of the most influential people in the DJ space right now. He won't acknowledge it, but I will. Mr. Cleveland Terry. And we were getting some good background on where he's at. I want to talk a little bit about, let's see where we at in my notes here. I do have notes. I want to do a stat check on your Twitch. When did you start streaming to Twitch?
God, it wasn't until like May, maybe somewhere around mid-May, because I remember it could have been even later, because I remember.
When did you get serious? When did you get serious?
I originally was on YouTube first. And I was doing my platform series. So that was probably like maybe in April. I hadn't gone to Twitch. I don't think I went to Twitch until like, May or June, somewhere around there. And even then, it was never really, I mean, I did like a Tuesday episode and the Saturday episode, but that was pretty much it. I didn't do much more of that, any more of that.
Let me find you. There you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I found you. It's coming up. All right, let me throw up your 90 days would be, let's see, 180 days is 6 months. So that should tell me. So it looks like you started a little bit in the beginning of June, but then by July you were doing by late June and early July, you started streaming a lot more. And then on Thursday, July 9th, you had an amazing stream. You had over 100 viewers that day. Like early on in your streaming, you hit over 100.
Oh.
And then after that, you've been on a steady incline. Let me look at your, I'll pull this up. I'll send you this link right now.
Yeah.
In the, I'm gonna post it in the Twitch chat if you don't mind. It's public data anyways. Okay. Let's see here. This is your 90 days on Solely Gnome, which is a site analytics for Twitch, which is a really amazing resource. So in 90 days, obviously you're exploding. You've gained followers at a rate of 168% faster than at a rate of 168 faster than before. In other words, you're exploding, dude. Your views is exploding. Your average viewers is climbing. Your peak viewers everything is up, including how much you're streaming. Did you take a break recently, like around 2 weeks ago? No.
2 weeks ago, I took a Friday off.
I
took a Friday and a Monday off, actually. I think
that's what it is. You streamed 39% less, and it shows on your stats, which is fine. Obviously, going by this is not anything more than just looking at where you're at as far as trends. And 90 days, honestly, isn't even really a fair way to look at trends. We need like a year's worth of data to see how you did at one point of the year or whatever. But the obvious thing is that you're exploding right now, which is awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. I love the lane that you're carving out for your waking up in Cleveland. That's brilliant, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, super awesome, man. And it's something that is missing in this DJ space. So big up to you for seeing that and jumping on it.
It's so funny. A lot of the things that I think I do have everything to do with just having a weirdly good amount of timing for whatever reason, because it honestly started out as I needed a way to continue to keep streaming consistently, and I wasn't doing that. I had a Tuesday platform, then I moved it to Wednesday, and I had my Saturday, and then my son is a dancer, so he couldn't do it. So I kept missing days. I kept saying I'm going to do it. And, maybe I was shooting a video that one day, and then the video went long. So then I didn't do the one. I was exhausted. Right. So, but also along the same lines, we're in quarantine. So I'm eating too much, drinking too much, not sleeping, schedule's all out of whack.
What day is it?
What day is it exactly?
Right.
Finally, when my kid, and then top it off, so my kids start back to school, and it's all distance learning, and they're getting up at 8:00. And I remember, like it was yesterday, I woke up and it was like 12:30, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, we just finished school and did this and did that and just had lunch." And I'm just like, "There's a problem here." So I decided to do a morning DJing, wake up in Cleveland just to get up in the morning because I was not getting up. And I'm like, if I get up in the morning, I'm going to go to bed earlier. It all kind of works its way out.
If you commit to 9 a.m., your body, yeah, exactly. I know that rule.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started doing that, and that was for like 2 weeks. And I started just, hey guys, I'm going to DJ. We're going to talk a little bit about tech, go from there. Then the next week, I was like, you know what? We're going to do this whole Beat Source thing. They came out with their beta. We're just going to test Beat Source the whole time. But in the meantime, I keep getting these, YouTube notifications. It's, you can't monetize. You can't do this. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do YouTube anymore because of that. But I knew I had a lot of people there. So then I said,
if you continue, real question, I'm sorry to cut you off. If you continue to do that on YouTube, just to clarify, because I'm not familiar with YouTube's policies, if you continue to do that on YouTube, will you be penalized for your content that is monetizable, or is it just demonetize the content that is flagged under copyright?
Yeah, it's only for that particular stream. Okay. And even then, there's two different types of flags. You have the one where, they say, okay, you're being demonetized. We're still going to allow you to keep it on your channel. And then there's the other one that says you can't even use it. And then there's the other one that says you're getting a copyright strike. I've never gotten a copyright strike in the 3.5 years that I've been on here. But when they were blocking my videos, that's when I was like, okay, because I don't know what things are being blocked. Now I don't know what to do. So I'm like, okay. So then it was that Monday, and I said, hey guys, I'm no longer going to play regular music. I'm going to play just my stuff from like Epidemic Sound. That's what I use for all my videos. I know that's copyright free, so I'm going to start playing that stuff. We'll chat. We'll see how long I can go, and then we'll hang up. And then that day, I brought in my partner Paris, just to kind of fill the time. And it was funny because he got on, and then it's like I watched the numbers drop. So then I was like, oh, maybe this isn't going to work because maybe people just aren't interested in having random people they don't know get on. And so then the next day, that was on Friday. I did that on Friday, and I was using StreamYards. The next Monday, I brought in DJ Whoopik. He's also a YouTube guy. So I brought him on, and I was looking at the numbers, and the numbers were stabilizing. Like, they didn't go up, they didn't go down. They just were like, good. I'm like, okay. this might work. And that filled up the whole day. And then the next day I brought on DJ Bar, and then he's a celebrity. So he posted on his thing, hey, I'm on here. And the numbers were just like amazing. And so then I was like, okay, this might work. So
good on you for having that network. That's awesome, man.
I pulled in all my YouTube guys, and they were totally down with it, which was cool. Also along that same line, we did the quarantine DJs night one, so that helped it too.
Those guys available to come in on Wednesdays?
They probably are. Honestly. But it wasn't until, who did I bring on? Oh, so I brought on Jason Jedi. That was a really good stream, and I brought on War and Peace from Direct Music Services. And
that was a great stream.
Yeah. It was at that point that I think people started to realize that, oh, this is good. It's not just like, hey, there's a guy that's bringing on people, but like there's actually information. It's entertaining. It's a fun thing. I don't take everything seriously. I'm more of a freestyle kind of guy, just like I DJ. And so I have my notes, I have my outlines, my bullet points, but I don't want to know everything you have to say beforehand. So, because people say, well, what do you want to talk about? I'm like, we'll just talk. I want people to feel like they're just involved in a very intimate conversation. Like today, I have the Innovator guy on tomorrow, and he called me. Yeah, and so we were just kind of talking, and then he was like, started talking. I'm like, well, I don't want to know all this right now. Save this.
Yeah. Oh, I totally know this one. Because we'll do like we're doing Zoom calls on Saturdays also in between our DJ sets, because we do the Inside the Ride thing where it's an hour long. I'm not trying to promote, but with an hour long DJ set, and then there's a 10-minute Zoom conversation between DJs where we're just kind of like idle talk, and we start chatting about whatever stuff. We're having a party. It's a party atmosphere, and then off to the next DJ of the night, right? Which is a lot of fun, super fun. But the Zoom room runs all night for 4 hours. So we're just bullshitting on the Zoom call, when the DJ's on, while we're chatting with people and everything. And there's been times where I'm like, y'all need to stop telling these stories now and wait until Wednesday when we can talk about this. And like, it's really interesting shit. And when we get up there on Wednesday, you guys don't talk about this stuff at all. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because
So,
I'm like, I don't want to feel triggered. I don't want to hear it. And then now I'm thinking, we already talked about it. Now I don't want to bring it up. Like, I just want it to be really organic, and organic works. And, it doesn't work for everybody. Like, I have had a couple of people where I felt like, that's when I get you're talking too much. And it's like, well, I know that they're not going to help me. Certain people you can just turn on right, and they'll just go, like Warren Peace was a perfect example. It's like, okay, go. And he just went. And then I would just kind of interject here and there. But there was a couple where I had to just talk a lot more. And I think that's fine. It is what it is. You want to make your guests feel comfortable. You can't just expect them to some people just aren't those guys. Like I knew my YouTube guys, I could just say go and they'll go. Right. Anybody that's in the public eye is just gonna go. But there are other people, even in the public eye, that just don't have it. So I just
even on the YouTube side too, because a lot of those are pre-recorded, so there's a persona that they can turn on. But live is a little bit more raw, and you get a little bit different side of their personality sometimes, even camera shy at sometimes. These guys that come off as like an extroverted personality on their YouTubes, but then you get them on a live stream and they're buckling up.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because when I shoot my videos, I write down kind of my script. I write it down just so it kind of starts to absorb in my mind. I can't do a script recording unless I'm just doing it like this, like an overdub. But I can't do it. Anytime I do it, I feel like my personality is just gone.
Right.
So then I just do jump cuts. I'll look at it and go, okay, there's 3 lines there. Let me do it the way I normally do it. Jump cut and go and keep going, hard cuts. So that's really the only way for me to do it. I've tried going the other way, and I just feel like I'm like, it doesn't work for me. I need to be able to.
In the creative process, it's all about workflow. And if something is obstructing your workflow, then you need to change it. If you get stuck running in a circle because of a particular aspect of your production, then you need to change that aspect of your production. And sometimes it means simplifying it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the most complicated thing in order to reach your end goal. A lot of times it's the simple thing that fixes everything, right? So that's awesome, man. So you're just, obviously, while looking at your stats, you've grown tremendously. What would you say is your strategy to your Twitch channel growth in the last few months? What would you say is your most successful strategy to those seeking to grow?
Yeah, so mine was well, obviously the Wake Up in Cleveland has been the best strategy. The rest, when I was just DJing, like I would have good numbers sometimes and then, you know, okay numbers other times. And in all honesty, I was starting to get a little frustrated because I didn't have a dedicated time, and I knew it had nothing to do with me or the people even wanting to watch me. It was the fact that like they didn't know what time I was going on. Consistency is really, really important. Also, people discount the fact that marketing is so important. You know, if you're not going on every day, then you need to tell people ahead of time when you're going on, just so it sticks in their head. I made Monday through Friday because I knew, hey, at least if it's Monday through Friday, people know that I'm on at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday. But if you're going on, you know, once a week, twice a week,
Wednesday with this show, right?
Right. People aren't going to know, and they might just forget. So you have to do some marketing, you know, and I know people don't want to do it, but it works. It works. The biggest problem with marketing is that IG sucks. And because it's not a linear post, I can post what I posted today may not show up in somebody's, you know, stream.
It could be 2 days from now, even in a lot of times, especially the story algorithm. It's incredibly stupid.
But it's what we have. So, which is why I also did it Monday through Friday, because that way I knew it's predictable. But
anybody out there who would like a marketing gold nugget, here you go. Fall back on good old-fashioned email lists. That is 100% way to reach your audience that is trying to reach you. The Twitch email is pretty good. The Twitch email works great. Having your own email list has always been great. And also, if you are on Twitch, it's not a bad idea to look into building a Discord community that runs in parallel with your Twitch channel. I was hesitant on doing that at first. Yes, I was hesitant on doing that at first. And I've actually seen the benefits. I didn't see the benefits as somebody who's spent years building a network on networks like Facebook and Instagram for the last 10 years, like a lot of other people, right? And so the heaviest part of my promotion for this channel has always been Facebook and Instagram. I'm building a YouTube channel in conjunction with starting this Twitch channel. Cool. So that's kind of like, that's building slowly as well. 200 whole followers almost pretty soon, guys, or subscribers, whatever it's called. Any case, without getting too far into my story, the idea of promoting outside and then bringing everybody into Twitch as a marketing strategy is something that I picked up from a lot of gaming streamers early on, from the content that they were creating about learn from the mistakes that I made. Don't do this, and do it like this, and you will succeed. And I was like, okay, well, what are they saying? They're saying I need to have a stream schedule, and I need to create content that runs in parallel with these different networks that then funnels into Twitch. In other words, like I was saying earlier, YouTube is usually the truth abouts or how-tos or top 10s, right? And Facebook is usually a 3-minute video of something, right, that grabs your attention, enough time for your friend to send a thumbs up, maybe a comment, and then check their notification that they just got, because Facebook constantly is distracting you and taking you elsewhere. It doesn't want to keep your eyes on the same thing for too long. Instagram is the same thing, even shorter sometimes, 30 seconds, minute and a half, you know what I mean? So I've been purposely like using that strategy, create all this content on all these different networks, and then say, like, you know, use Twitch as the venue. Twitch is where I'm bringing everybody to, right? And that seems to be working pretty well for this little channel.
I'm just glad to know that I'm actually doing the right things without thinking about it, because that's exactly what I did. I'm like, Twitch is the live thing where people can catch me in real time. And then you have YouTube, which is all my static stuff. I post it, you see it whenever you want to see it. And it's just this kind of circle effect.
It's
you know,
the evergreen.
go here for this.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. Yep. Yeah. Well, good. Hey, you know, I mean, it's again, it's not rocket science. It's something that a lot of people should be thinking about anyway, because a lot of people I find, and I did this first too, where they're just like, nope, I'm going to drop my anchors right here. I'm going to stay on this, and this is all I'm going to do. Right. You know, like, and it's like, well, you can do this and do that and also do this too. Like, it's okay. And it's okay to have different fan bases for each platform. Like, they don't all have to be the same fans.
Right.
And, you know, the key is, as long as you can get to a point where you can, you know, if it's monetizable, if you can monetize them all, that's great. So now there's a YouTube. You should
be on them all then.
Yeah, there's a YouTube revenue stream. There's a Twitch revenue stream. You know, and Instagram is your marketing, and Facebook is your marketing, and you know, I do Facebook just because, but it's really annoying to me because there's no way to actually become. And you can't monetize on Facebook unless they ask you to, which is incredibly stupid. Like, for instance, you have 5,000 people. You're capped out right now. So what do you do when somebody else wants to follow you? You kick somebody off?
Yeah, hell yeah. I look for somebody with the default icon and I give them the boot. Gotcha. I've been one in, one out for like the last 10 years on this damn profile. And honestly, like, it was because, you know, you start building your network on Facebook 10 years ago. Then all of a sudden they introduced pages. So now I got to put all these people, these thousands of people that I've been working on this thing, to move them over to my page. They don't want to go to my fucking page.
Nobody wants to go to pages.
Right.
I'm like, guys, they're adding me and they're sitting in this waiting pen for me to put them on. Because I'm like, I don't know about you. Maybe you're different now because you do have, you know, 5,000 people. But for me, Facebook has always been about family. So when I have all these random people trying to add me on my personal page, like, I'm a little reluctant. You know what I mean? It's just weird, especially because sometimes you don't know what kind of people they are. You know, like, they'll get on your page and you're posting your own personal stuff and they're like responding like, I don't need you to be here. This is my area. So it's been hard for me. It's honestly, and then you get some people, which is weird because look, fact is I'm a black man, and if something happens to my black people, I'm probably going to say something. And I've had people like literally like try to like convince me that I'm wrong or show like, why are you following me? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like I out of all the things this year, that's been the hardest thing for me. Is trying to understand that, because it's like, you can't look at me and go, I follow you. Like, I had a big YouTube guy where it's like, you know, I don't want to follow you anymore because, you know, you're clearly racist. I'm like, no, I'm not racist. And it was the stupidest thing. I don't know if you saw my IG post. It was about
I didn't see
strippers.
That.
No. Okay, so real quick. So these Atlanta strippers posted this Go Vote marketing scheme. And it's literally all of these strippers like on a poll. And, you know, they're like, hey, go, you know, then they broke it down like, oh, if you want this law changed, you need to do for this. If you want this law changed, you need to go after this person, go after this person. That's all. They were like, get your ass to the polls. Like, that was the whole thing.
That's amazing.
And it was amazing. And,
amazing.
Literally, yeah. And literally people were like, oh, see, that's racist. You know, because they were saying, if you want the laws changed, if you don't agree with whatever this is how you do it. If you think you have crooked cops, this is the person you need to vote in to get those crooked cops away. Like, that's it. But people are so knee-jerky now. And then he literally said to me, first off, he, for some reason, totally directed me, you know, you sound really white to be such a racist.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm, you know, and he's like, I can't support you anymore. You just lost my support. And then disappeared. And it's like, how do you take that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you take that kind of thing? Because it's like,
people in the world are real, man. Like,
yeah, but why are you here? Why are you on my page? If that is the kind of thing that triggers you, then I question, you know, how open-minded you really are.
Yeah, how did you land here to begin with, right?
Exactly. You know, maybe you just like listening to my voice. Maybe my white voice was soothing to you, but it's my voice. You know, for the longest time, that was my biggest fear when I moved to YouTube, by the way, because I've always gotten my entire life, you sound white, you sound white, oh, because I was a dancer, I was a hip hop jazz dancer, I was a DJ, I was all these things, but but you sound white, so you can't possibly, even though I did. So when I started YouTube, that was the biggest thing. I was like, I wonder how many people are going to, and when I first started, that was a thing. They were all just like, oh, your info's cool, but you sound really, really white. Your info's cool, but I'm like, okay. So I just kept going. And it went away, to a certain degree, but I know it's there. It's what I live with, but just because I sound this way because I'm educated, my parents decided to put me in a place that, I could get an education and learn
that
proper
part,
English, and
that part,
that's why I talk the way I do. I wasn't born where I grew up. My parents moved me. So, now I've finally gotten comfortable being me. And the funniest thing was, the most shocking thing was that I started looking at my subscriber base on YouTube, and I was surprised by the amount of black guys that were subscribed to me. Like, that actually shocked me. Then I was like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay to be who you are. And just like if you watch the tech guy, MKBHD, Marquez Brownlee, he's like the YouTube tech god for all things tech, phone related and everything. He's got like 6 million subscribers. He might even have 10 now. I don't even know. But he's like me.
Props to that guy.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, the guy started in his dorm room, and it was only like, 8 years ago. And now he's got like 10 million followers. It's crazy. He's interviewing Elon Musk and like big people. He interviewed Kobe. Like, he's that guy now.
Wow.
I want to be there.
Goals.
Yeah. I got to put that on my vision board.
Yeah, right. So, okay, you're obviously like growing at a tremendous rate. At a point where it's like, in a year from now, I'm going to be like, yo, remember when we had Cleveland Terry on this show? That was the shit. Like, he's freaking enormous. No. Again, it's an honor to have you. Moving right along. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. First thing, I like to keep things topical with the show. So I kind of try to avoid running in the same circle, talking about the same thing over and over again. Even though it's inevitable, there are some things that you end up, repeating.
Sure.
But there is some new stuff that I wanted to talk about, and you would be a great person to bring this, talk about this with. First thing I want to talk about is the new version of Serato. There is, let me bring up my notes. I had it up, and now it went away because I accidentally closed.
You open that up from the annex. We're not talking about any new Pioneer mixers because I have a little thing called an NDA.
Yeah. So, wink, wink.
Yeah.
What new Pioneer mixer? Let me get my notes up here. Okay. Although I am really, really curious about that, and we'll be talking about it next week because we'll know more about it in a week's time for sure.
Exactly.
So let's see here. Okay, my notes. Where is it at? Serato DJ 2.4 is out.
Yeah.
Let me get this up on the screen. All my fancy work here. Okay. Totally live, on the fly switching. How about that? All right. I'm the director, the producer, and the switcher. Here we go. Let's bring this up. Oh, wait. Oh, I failed.
That's the new world.
Right?
Do it all.
Jeez, I tell you. Whoops, that's not it. Let's do this one. There we go. Okay.
Can't see.
So Serato DJ 2.4 is now out. And it's saying here's the new features that are available now in Serato DJ 2.4. Music streaming integrations, including Beat Source and Beatport Link. And we'll talk about that because you had a guest on recently. And also easier live streaming. I'm doing the fingers. Quickly connect Serato DJ Pro to your broadcasting software by enabling Make Audio available to other applications in the setup menu. I want to talk to you about that because you went over that today. And then another thing is use your laptops as speakers as a master output. That's actually pretty cool. If you have a bus-powered controller and you want to do like some offline prep without plugging into your DJ setup, that's the old coffee table setup, right? You just set everything on the coffee table and get stuff done. That's amazing. And then advanced MIDI mapping. Looks like you can now do macro MIDI mappings. In other words, you can do multiple MIDI functions at once within the software. Does that sound right to you?
It does. Although
Okay.
I couldn't get it to work properly when I tried yesterday, but neither here nor there.
So let's talk about that not working properly. First thing, Beat Source and Beatport Link. You had my man on a couple of days ago, right?
Yep. Yeah, Beat Source was on. Styles was on to give a demo of the product, and I'd already been giving the demo, because I've been going through it, but not visually speaking. It was just musically speaking. So it was a really good thing for everybody else out there. I am exceptionally impressed by the curation in Beat Source Link. And I'm not even talking about Beat Source, because Beat Source is Beat Source. I used Beat Source before, and it was fine. If you search, you can pull all the stuff up that you need. The difference is Beat Source Link and Beatport are literally run by two different companies. So right. Beat Source is the DJ City guys, basically. It's so the curation part of it is like second to none, and the more importantly, they're consistently trying to evolve it, because when it first came out, it came out on Rekordbox, and I tested it. They were like, yeah, check it out, give a review, blah blah blah. And I tested it. I was like, I think it's good for now, but there's no clean version tags. I have no idea what's clean, what's dirty. I can't use this for private events, so
you should see
whatever.
You should see the episode that we did on it. I had words for it. I was not very happy with it. Any case, go ahead.
As you should. No, seriously, as you should. And I told Styles, I'm like, yo, man, look, I'm like, I really want to use this, but I can't use this in a public forum because I have no idea. It's like me playing SoundCloud Go files. Like, it's impossible to trust it. So I put it on the back burner. I was like, nope, we're good. And then when the demo came out, and I was kind of making some comments, and Mojax is like, you might want to look at it again. Like, And I opened it up. That's when I went into testing mode for that entire week. And literally, the curation part of it. Now, for everybody that's going to ask, they don't have an app. So you can't do this from your phone like you can with DJ City or BPM Supreme or any of those guys. It's all browser-based. But the browser is flexible and intuitive.
And it's integrated directly into the into the DVS. In other words, you make the changes in the website, and then it reflects on your Rekordbox or now Serato. Yeah, okay.
Correct. So with Rekordbox, it's done actually better, because Rekordbox actually has a refresh button. So you just hit that, all of your changes happen. In what am I saying here? In Serato, you have to basically trick it and turn it off and then turn it back on again, and then it works. But
it's the scan ID3 tags checkbox, or one of those ones. Right.
Exactly. Right. But beside that little thing, the curation is really, really good. Like, it got to a point where I was thinking for a moment, this is going to make a lot of DJs look a lot better than they really are. Because if somebody's like, hey, we got a funk thing, and they go, let's go to the funk section, like, all the funk in there was like perfect choices, everything that I would have chosen. And then some, like, I totally forgot about that song. Oh, I got to make sure I have this one too. Now, the only difference is, of course, it's streaming only. So you're still going to need to have those files if you opt to go someplace that doesn't have a good internet.
But if we're all home on an Ethernet connection,
everything's perfect. Yeah, we're good. We're like, this is great. And then you get out in the real world, you're like, oh, that's right, I forgot. Hotel internet sucks. That's right. That's right. So basically, so now then they have the offline locker, but then you're paying for it. You get 50. I think it's $19.99. And then for 100, it's $30. So it's cheaper than Beatport. Beatport was expensive. For that 100, I think it was like $79. It was something ridiculous when they first came out. And I told them when they showed me, I'm like, look, you gotta drop the price. Nobody's gonna pay for this. Right. This does, especially nowadays when you can get Tidal, because you're competing with Tidal. So no matter how much you don't want to believe you're competing with them, you are. So
even more so, you're competing with the workflows of every DJ out there. Most DJs, I would say most all DJs, unless you're a young kid just getting started, has a physical, well, what would we consider a physical library? A digital library on a physical hard drive, right? Offline storage of music has been, is the new vinyl, so to speak, right? It's the new, I've been doing this since you stored MP3s on your hard drive, is going to be something that's said in the next 10 years, in my opinion. And
right. And
so,
Gabe, that's wrong. 50 is not included in the first one. 50 is for the second, it's the second tier. So move everything up $10 and then you're good. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
You're good. No, but so yeah, their biggest objection, I'd say, that these BeatSource and Beatport Link subscription services are offering, the biggest objection is asking DJs to change their workflow. Because we got some stubborn fools in this industry that don't want to change their workflow. It was hard enough getting my ass to change from vinyl all the way over to Serato, eventually into record box. Like, it took me a while. I was carrying a laptop and records for at least 3 years before I made just in case
that computer crashes.
Yeah.
we've all been there,
right?
I remember the day when I was like, I'm not going to take any backups. Like, we're finally at that point. That was hard. That was really hard. Scared to death.
Right. So with that mentality in mind, I feel like that's the biggest objection with this new streaming service stuff. One thing that stood out from that interview that you had with my man at BeatSource that I liked was that, yes, they are receiving a similar media stream as, say, a Tidal or a Spotify or an Apple Music, but those other services do not curate the acapellas if the studio releases them, the instrumentals if the studio releases them, because studios are still releasing those, not as often as they used to, but they still are releasing those. And people that are usually on Spotify or Apple Music, for the most part, aren't really interested in that kind of shit at all.
I've never seen an acapella on Apple Music.
But a resource like that for DJs, no, I can see DJs wanting nothing but that. You know what I mean? Like, I can see DJs subscribing to BeatSource for nothing but acapellas and instrumentals. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a totally what would be great for producers and DJs. You know what I mean?
They only have the one problem that I specifically have with BeatSource, and it's not even BeatSource, it's Serato, that you cannot mix and match. You can't mix and match streaming media with local media. You can do that with Rekordbox. So if people are on Rekordbox and they're wondering, yes, it's so much easier in Rekordbox to keep all your stuff together, because, you know, I don't know about you, but if, you know, you make a like I've made playlists, I'm going live for somebody, I'm on Snapback's thing, whatever, and I've pulled everything in and I'm like, okay, great. And then I'm like, oh, but I got to remember that after this ninth song, I got to move to my streaming folder called the same thing so I can pull that song. Hopefully I remember that was a song that came after it, not before. It's harder. So it's almost better to just make the whole playlist in the streaming, but now you can't record it. So there's a lot of reasons that streaming still are a problem, because you can't record any of your streaming sets.
Oh, we can find a way to record.
Well, you know, the funny thing is now you can, because of the
Streamback or Loopback.
Not even Loopback. You can do it right through Serato now.
Oh, it's right.
Serato now,
the built-in. Totally.
Because I opened up exactly. So I opened up Ableton and I opened up the iShow card as the input. Everything came in perfectly.
I believe
there you go. Yeah.
So without even needing anything else, you can configure it as an audio source now. That's amazing. That's actually really awesome. You were testing that today, and it was giving you mixed results. Did you ever figure out what was going on with that?
Yeah, I believe so. I talked to my guy at Serato, and he could not verify, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. He's like, actually, the plugin that we had is not necessarily working in Catalina yet. I'm on a Catalina computer. So he's like, because it's like everybody else hasn't had problems. I'm like, what are they on, Mojave or Yosemite? You know, like that's different. So that's why I guarantee you, if I opened it up on here, it would be just fine on my Yosemite computer.
Hey, Serato, get your QC right, man. Come on.
Well, you know, over time, you know, I think I believe this is a stopgap, you know, and I think that everything's gonna be all. there's a couple of things that they need to do for the next major update that I think is all going to fall into place at the same time. I don't have any information on it, but they don't really have a choice now. There's too many things that it's like is duct taped together, and they have to fix this for the next update. Old Mac represent. You know what? I use my old Mac. You know why? Because my phases won't update unless I plug it into my old non-USB-C computer. So I still keep my old Mac just for that. Yeah. We won't talk about phase today.
Big up to From the Annex out in DC. Appreciate you being up. Big up to No Use for Anger out in Florida. How you doing? Big up to Binary Fission. Big up to DJ Circle Entertainment. I got to bring that up in just a second. Put that in my notes real quick. Actually, I want to talk to you about DJ Circle Entertainment. All right.
I love the way that your chat is like completely on topic, and then you turn around and look back, and they're talking about like Wendy's hamburgers.
I have the best.
So
chat.
Bizarre.
That's probably Mike Airstrike. He's the leader and all that ass hattery, and it's very encouraged.
That's like Tweak Music Tips. Tweak Music Tips. Their chat has nothing to do with what's going on in the actual stream. It's just random.
This just goes off on Wendy's and how they like their chili. I like my chili with 1 pack of crackers, extra cheddar cheese, and I like 2 cups so that I can put the crackers and cheese in first and then pour the chili on top.
So then it melts together. Yeah, you got like chili con carne. Okay, I got that. That works. That works.
Word up. Okay, so moving right along. Well, first of all, I just so you know, I'm a record box user.
Okay.
Back in like 2017, I was using Serato for most of my gigs, and then specifically for drum and bass, I was managing a library and record box because most drum and bass gigs are like an hour and a half or an hour, and what's the point? Just bring a USB stick, right? Right. So in 2017, I bought a new MacBook Pro, and the hardware configuration did not work on Serato DJ. Now, this is right before Serato DJ Pro was released. I want to say like a few months, right? This was still just Serato DJ, okay?
Is that the crashing Mac?
Yeah, it was the crash. Yes, I had the shit build. And so me needing it for professional use, I went ahead and installed Rekordbox because I'm a admitted Pioneer DJ fanboy. I have all the hardware. I'm in the Pioneer ecosystem. I installed their software and started using it, and it worked great. And I've never looked back since, mostly because it took me long enough to learn a new workflow in Rekordbox. I don't want to go back to using Serato just because I don't want to learn anything all over again. It's not because I like Rekordbox better than Serato. I think they both are fine, right?
They're both fine, yeah.
Right. I think the one workflow difference I had to get used to was I used to use crate folders as like a hierarchy. In other words, if I clicked on the folder, it would show the sum of all the playlists. I know
exactly what you're saying. The most frustrating part of Rekordbox.
Yes. So I had to learn to adjust to that. But after I started going into things like the related tracks and the way that it analyzes the tracks and the different library organization, and the fact that I was already tagging my music, I quickly adapted to that. Not a problem, right? Yeah. But then, so fast forward to now, I'm on Rekordbox 6.1.1 or whatever it is, the newest one, with the Dropbox account and everything synced over the cloud, and it's fucking beautiful, man. I love it. Yeah. I love that I have a library that will work for a USB export or for a laptop or for anything, you know what I mean? Like, it's all there, and I can have it synced over the cloud across the PC and a Mac. Like, it's great, right?
Right.
So even though I have my qualms with Rekordbox and like any other software, I'm a big fan of Rekordbox. So I hope they continue to develop it. And my point is that with this new DJ mixer supposedly coming out, or at least more information coming out next week, I really, really hope that Pioneer, if you're out there scouting right now, listening to this interview, I really, really hope that you're not making software-specific models of your hardware with this new mixer. Please don't make a Rekordbox and a Serato version of this mixer. Please let it work with everything. That would just be the way that it should be.
As a fan of all things hardware, equipment, and Pioneer, I'm a big fan. I'm going to agree with you. It needs to have that. So, well, yeah, it's like I said, I do like Rekordbox because I had to use it for my DDJ 1000 when I bought it. It's a great platform, and I'll be using it again the next couple of days, just to see how everything works. But I'm more, every time I use Rekordbox, I'm like, oh yeah, this was really good about it. When you use the pad effects, you're like, yeah, I like
the pad effects. Oh,
yeah. You know what I mean? And you're just like, this is great. And I know a lot of people are talking about subscriptions and how they went with subscription. I mean, yes and no. They went subscription for their S9 because it was never a Rekordbox mixer. So right. I know a lot of people were annoyed with that. And I do feel that they should have just made that. They should have just clicked the little toggle and said, it's fine. It's covered too, because it is a flagship mixer. But for the most part, if you buy anything of real substance with the Pioneer, you're not going to even have to pay for that subscription. I mean, you can buy an XP1 and you're good across the board. I mean, I was just going to say that.
You buy an XP1 and you also get the DVS license.
Exactly.
I use the X because I'm sure you've seen. I've got the classic Chevy up on the table. I use a TTM 57. Yep, exactly. I have the XP1 right here. So I'm actually using. Are we pulling out the XP1?
See, here's the thing. So this is the bullshit thing about this. So I bought this XP1 a month in like 4 days before the XP2 came out. So I bought it, and then I was like, I love it and hate it because since I'm not using Rekordbox as much, it's a paperweight. Then when the XP2 came out, I'm like, that's the one that I need. So I'm going to bite the bullet and buy an XP2. Also, a lot of people don't know this. If you use things like Serato Studio, a lot of people are starting to get into that. And I've been using it now because they sent it to me. And it's actually a really good program. I mean, it's not Ableton. It's nowhere near Ableton. But the things that it does do fast, efficiently, and it does a good job doing them. This particular thing won't work with it. The XP2 works with it, but not this one. So I was really, and I don't want to pull out my push for something like that, and have to remap everything.
Have you, it sounds like you have to revisit Rekordbox really soon. Have you tried the new edit mode in Rekordbox?
So
have you seen that?
I opened it up and looked at it. I did a couple of, drag and drops to see. I mean, it's essentially, for what it is, it's great. It's a quick way to make your edits. I don't think you'll truly be doing, remixes with it. It's going to be way too much work for that. But to quickly do an edit and then, more importantly, export it out so it can be used in any platform, right. That's a win for me. That's a win. And it's for people who don't want to spend the money on Ableton. It's just built in. Now you're good. You don't have to have Ableton or Serato Studio. So
I could see somebody like myself who I would say pretty well versed in Logic Pro. I can cut through that DAW pretty well.
How is the new Logic Pro, by the way? I have it sitting on my computer, never opened it.
It's amazing. Yeah, the new step sequencer is I've been over here writing just step writing drums over and over again, and if I streamed it would annoy people because I'm sitting here EQing a snare for 4 hours just loving the step sequencer. But as somebody who's familiar with the DAW, I can find myself using the edit mode because, first of all, my beat grids are already on point for a lot of my music. And if I just want to, say, have the hook comes first kind of edit, or 8 bars before the beat drops kind of thing, so I can do like a beat mix kind of thing, all that stuff can easily be done with this app. Right. And it can be done from within without having to leave your DVS, which is like, as far as workflow goes as a DJ, like if you're creating a mixtape and you want to create something, and if you have to stop and go into your DAW and make this and then go back, it stops your workflow. Like I was saying earlier, anything that interrupts your workflow for creativity is bad. You're right. So this is great for that. And I'm actually I tried it out and I think it's pretty badass.
It is. They did a good job.
I use the active sensor a lot too, in Rekordbox, which is pretty badass. Go ahead.
Now, here's a question because I don't use it as much as you. There's a sequencer in Rekordbox. Can you use the sequencer along with edit, or is it only the one single, wave file, stereo file that you're editing?
It's a good question. So is it multi-tracking? Like if you had, I want to do a re-drum over it and you sequenced some drums over it, I'll give it a shot. I didn't try that at all. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. That's a good thing to do. I'll definitely give that a try. I'll put that in my notes actually.
Yeah, Dark Kid or Dark Quid or whatever. I've never used Tractor, ever. Never touched it, but everybody swears by it. Who's ever used it, but it's not gonna sustain itself.
I enjoyed.
Go ahead.
I enjoyed Tractor's user interface as a creative. Like I liked things like the remix decks that it has, and I liked the tactile feel that it has as a DVS. I feel like the library management could use some work. They did just recently add smart crates, which is really awesome. But yeah, I think that Tractor's biggest downfall is library management. But I also hear rumor in the rumor circles that Tractor
gonna buy them.
Alan and Heath could be buying Tractor. Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
Depends on who you ask, because Mojax is like, nope, never gonna happen. But but he also said that the Rain 12s were gonna flop. So people can be wrong. You never know.
I know that there's definitely been talks, at least that's what's been going around on the news wire, that Alan and Heath has talked to them, and I believe In Music was rumored to, but I don't think that's true. I think In Music wants nothing to do with Tractor, but because they have no reason for it. They don't have exactly. They don't have a reason. They have both. They have. Well, if they're going to develop anything, they're going to develop Denon's Prime into something more than it is.
I mean, maybe if they wanted to move away from Serato,
right?
But that would be silly.
That'd be silly. Rain is too embedded with Serato right now, and so that's not. Yeah, it's not going to change. That's like the bread and butter, basically. That's peanut butter and jelly.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, look, right now, would you buy any other gear at this moment and for the future that didn't have Serato and record box in the hardware?
No, I wouldn't. Especially if I'm a pioneer in the Pioneer DJ ecosystem. Mm-hmm. If I'm in the Rain ecosystem, then I would probably be using Serato. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as somebody who's in the Pioneer DJ ecosystem, then it needs to be both, because I'm going to be doing collaboration events. Yeah,
you're right. That's the issue, because for me, I'm different. I'm a multi-op. I got people that come with me to events, and maybe if I don't want to DJ anymore, I'm like, hey, get on. Oh, I can't get on because why? Oh, because I'm using Serato, and this is a record box only hardware.
Yep. I
already lost. I actually had to buy a whole new Serato one just for people that came along with me if I wanted to take off. So, and I got burned on that in the XP1, and I promised myself, I'm like, I'll never buy another piece of Pioneer gear unless it comes with both of them. That way, because I switch back and forth.
The DDJ SX and the XZ both worked with both, and the XZ had two USB ports, and it worked simultaneously. You could run record box on one computer and Serato on the other computer. And then they took a step backwards with some weird marketing pitch to make people use Serato only or record box only controllers, and that was just like, I didn't get it.
I mean, I understand it because they're trying to move market share to their platform, so I understand it, but I think
it felt like to me. It felt like to me they were beta testing their hardware on record box users because it's a smaller user base. That's what it felt like to me. And so I like when the DDJ 1000 comes out, it's running. I mean, Serato. I'm never going to get a Serato sponsorship for this, but that's okay. DDJ 1000 comes out, and it's record box only at first, and coincidentally, there's this small dedicated, loyal to record box group that will buy this hardware, and maybe they saw it as a sustainable enough market to push this hardware out to the smaller user base, iron out the kinks before they do the full Serato rollout with this SRT update to their hardware. That's what I saw from afar. I could be wrong though. That's like
I do know this though. The 1000 is probably the best controller on the market.
I love mine.
Yeah. It is really an amazing piece of kit. It's weird because it feels like, I think they were really hoping though that 1000 was going to get people over. And when it didn't, the last resort was like, let's make an SRT version because
we got all these 1000s. We need to sell this shit.
yeah, because it really wasn't designed for Serato. And if you use it with Serato, and you've used the Pioneer version, you recognize that easily. Like, this feels weird. Like, it feels like it's missing some buttons. And especially if you're coming from like the SX2 or the SX3 to the 1000 SRT, you
absolutely had less features.
Limiting. Yeah. Yes. It's got jog wheels though. The jog wheels are amazing. They're absolutely amazing.
Who was really using all three effects parameters controls? There was a lot of stuff that was a little bit redundant that was reduced. And the idea of having a layout that's consistent with their flagship Nexus lineup is smart. And so,
although I've always hated the switchable channel effects. I know a lot of people love those about Pioneer. I've hated that strip because if I want to do effects on both sides, and choose, it's either all or nothing. So I've never liked those. That's why I've always liked the buttons to be up top, like the SX2, so
absolutely.
I can choose.
You can activate, and bypass.
But that changes with the pad effects. Pad effects changes everything.
Pad effects is everything. When I first started using pad effects, I was like, this is the way it should have been the whole time. Like, this is the way it should have been the whole time. Because it's so.
Especially when I found out when I realized how to edit them. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to edit them correctly, and then I finally saw the page. I'm like, oh, there it is. Because I love loop roll.
Yep.
Okay, but for some reason, for the longest time, it was like Pioneer was like, nope, loop roll isn't popular. Like, yes, it is. So they took it off, and I needed to get it back. So I finally found it in the pad effects, and I was so happy. Then it was perfect.
And you have the XP1, you can map it any way you want, so you're good.
Yeah. I'm going to sell this XP1. I might even give it away. If I knew that people actually use Pioneer gear, I would do a giveaway with it. I don't even know how many people use. I mean, I know you use it. War and Peace is a diehard, record box guy. I don't know a lot of people that use record box.
You're right. I have successfully recruited a few suckers here in Sacramento. And Pioneer can thank me for that. They're not paying me for that at all, and they absolutely can.
To be fair, they don't pay anybody.
I know it.
They're like the Apple of the world.
Our local dealer recently became an authorized Pioneer dealer. Our local djgear shop. So actually, let me shout them out right now. Big up Sacramento Tech Exchange. Let me throw it up in the chat. They are awesome. Think of like an old school Radio Shack meets Guitar Center. In other words, you've got a DJ gear and audio production gear, and they also sell computers and laptops. Like, think about if Guitar Center sold MacBooks also. So you've got they also sell computers, and then they're also a full service repair shop. So they'll fix your turntables, they'll fix your laptop,
all in one.
Yeah. So,
one-stop shop. That's perfect.
One-stop shop. They're a beautiful shop. Big up Simon at Sac Tech Exchange. Give them a call and give them a visit. It's definitely well worth it. Shouts out. And they're big supporters of this show. So thank you so much for that. I want to talk about, for a little while here, your most recent video. Let me get it up here. Okay, so let me bring up my notes here. Good. Okay, so the first thing you said on your 10 do's and don'ts is do not focus on the numbers. Would you care to elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. As I said, like, people, they get on the stream and they have these expectations of what is a successful stream. And then they look at the numbers and they're like, oh man, it's low, it sucks. And then it changes your whole demeanor, changes your whole personality. When you get depressed about something, it doesn't come off well. And you have to DJ as if there's 1,000 people, or you don't have no idea what the number is, because the only way to retain people is to actually give a good performance. And if somebody's randomly coming to your stream, because people don't realize this, people are coming to your stream all the time. Yep. Oh, what's this? They click on it, they look for a second after they've gone through the 30-second commercial, and then so by that time they're already annoyed. Then they finally get to your stream, and if you're like just sitting there, they're like, okay, go somewhere else. And the world is your oyster when it comes to streaming. So You have to sell. You have to play the part. You have to sell it. Be out there doing big things. That way, when people come on, they have a reason to stay around on your channel. So don't worry about the numbers. Don't let that impact you, because it's just going to make for a very bad show.
I'll tell you the numbers that get to me in a good and bad way. My community is very gracious with the gifted subs, and they've gotten better at it over the past few months as they've learned to become better Twitch users, basically, right? Mm-hmm. And so there will be weekends when I'll rack up 200 subs in a night off of gifted subs.
Wow,
and
impressive.
And it's absolutely incredible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had one time when somebody threw 200 subs themselves. One person threw 200 subs on the night. Big up to Donut. Big up Donut, the oil prince. So Donut, the oil prince, throws 200 subs in a night, and it's beautiful. But there is a yin and a yang to this scenario, because 30 days later, those 200 subs, unless somebody continues their sub, those 200 gifted subs roll right off, right?
Right.
And so, and to wake up one morning and have 200 less subscribers on your channel than you did the night before.
Oh, right.
You're dragging knuckles all day. Like, it's such a horrible feeling that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. And any of those gifted subs, you probably are not going to get back. Yeah.
So like, okay, so here's an example, and this happens every month. Like, we're at the beginning of the month right now, so it's resetting, okay? Yeah. I went into the end of September at right around, I'm not shy about it. I love the support here on this channel. We have goals. I try to stay right around 300 subs for this channel. And I try to encourage that with our crew. And right now, and we've gone up as high as 600 plus subs on this channel, and we've gone as low as like 20, 30 subs on the other side, right? Right now, we're at 287 subs, which means hopefully this Friday, we're going to hit 300 again, and that's my magic number for the month right now. Now, maybe in a couple of months, my magic number, I'll try to keep everything at 400 subs, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then a few months later, try to go to 600 subs and keep it there, right? It's incremental steps, right? But
140 or something like that. That's incredible. Good job.
Thanks. It's not me. It's everybody in the chat right now. It's all the love that everybody shows. Honestly, like, I don't present myself as a charity, and you talk about that in your stream. I'm just trying to provide a good show. And also I'm trying to remind everybody that, you know, I'm putting a lot of time and effort into this, and anything that they can give back is obviously super appreciated.
Exactly. Yeah. People don't realize just how much work is involved in doing these types of things. Like, this talk show scenario is incredibly time consuming, getting guests together, coordinating with, there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of work. But, and of course, we never put that on the people. Like, it's, you know, hey, take care of me, it's so much work. Like, no, but if you're learning something, if you're gaining something from this, you should take care of the people. You know, and I just started talking about that in my stream now. I never used to, because I was more like, is it begging? It feels like I'm asking. It's like, then you realize, you know, it's like PBS. You're providing a service, and the service requires monetization in order to maintain it. So It's okay to say, hey guys, support the channel by doing, here are the ways you can support the channel. Right. Not why haven't you supported, but here are the ways. If you want, go for it. You know. So.
Speak of the devil, big up Amberly, giving out a tier 1 to the crew. Appreciate that. For real, subscribing at 5 months with Prime. Prime is a great way to show love.
Yes, it really is.
I'm getting tired of explaining how to do it, because Amazon seems to make you want to jump through a ring of fire from a user experience. Mm-hmm. Having to site hop to 2 sites from a developer standpoint is like basically telling someone to run a marathon in order to subscribe, right? And also on top of it, making it more difficult for mobile users, which is the majority of your user base a lot of the time.
Why is your screen fighting right now?
Are they fighting?
They were.
Awesome. Yeah, that's my battle royal. That's all the folks in the chat right now having a battle royal.
That's hilarious.
Oh, I'll show you all about that. Those are all the folks in the stream avatars. Big up to everybody in the battle royal. Appreciate y'all. On Saturday nights, we have mosh pits. And it's so much fun. It's a good time. Amber Lee throwing another T1. That's a good look. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are awesome. We have an amazing crew here. The community has been deep. A lot of it is rooted in Sacramento, but in the last 6 months, we've been expanding outward. And it's a good thing. I appreciate the love, guys. Thank you so much. Moving into number 2. And honestly, we've just started doing it now. Your number 2 is focus on the people.
Yes.
Expand on that for me.
Well, it's interesting because I said that, and what I meant was, in your stream, the people that are watching you should be the most important part of it. It's kind of like, for people that don't know, or if you've ever performed live, sometimes you might get to a show and it's like, not a lot of people came. So maybe it's you and 10 people. And if you're performing, not DJing, I'm talking about like maybe you're singing, you're in a band, you're going to naturally just face all of your energy. You're going to put all your energy into those 10 people there. You might start calling people out. You might start asking them, hey, what's going on? What are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. And it connects you with the band. It connects you with the performance. People need to do the same thing when they're on Twitch. If you're ignoring your crew, and this is what's funny to me, because I said that, and then people were like, I don't ever say anything on my streams. I just get on there and DJ and then get off, and I'm fine. It's like, are you fine though? You might think you're fine, but what if you started talking to those people? Would you see a difference? And I have done both ways. I've done it where I just got focused on the DJing. I'm showing my skills and my craft, and then I've done the things where I've been bullshitting and messing up and laughing and talking to people. The messing up, laughing, and talking to people are the ones that I got the most response from, the ones that I got the most bits, the most subs from. It was never the, look how good I am, look at all my skills. That's never a thing, ever. So focus on the people. Trust me, it works. Billy does the same thing on his. I watch him all the time. He's always talking to the crowd.
Can't shut me up. I feel like there's a lot of people who have different types of engagement, but yes. I do call it personality driven content, and personality driven content does succeed on Twitch. And that personality content can be somebody talking on the microphone. Absolutely, it is a lot of the time. My man No Use for Anger in the chat right now, he has an incredible way of communicating with his audience through chatting. He's got a keyboard and his monitor right there by his decks, and he's communicating.
He's still doing it.
He's still doing it, right? He's anything that I would say on the microphone, he has the ability to type it in the chat, and he's doing it while mixing on 3 turntables, and it's fucking phenomenal.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know, and me trying to type regularly, let alone with all that shit going on, it would just be disastrous. It would just look like this in the chat right now. Like it would.
but that's also, but we're saying the same thing. People are like, I don't get on the microphone. I'm not saying there's a specific way, but if you just have to communicate with your audience, they need to know that you're actually focusing on them. You're actually there with them. Because how many times does somebody ask a question and you don't answer it because you're DJing? That bothers people. You know what I mean? And we've passed the point, at least in my mind, where even the superstar DJs can get by and act like nobody's there and they can just do their own thing.
Right.
Like a perfect example was Buck Rogers, who's a super, super dope DJ. Super dope DJ, percussionist, is on the MPC, all this thing. He's got this amazing 3D graphics and green screen, all that stuff. It's like top notch.
Right.
Every time I went to his stream, there was like 40 people on. And I was like, dude, you're Buck Rogers. These numbers don't make any sense. And then I started watching him. And for the first couple of weeks, he was like, yeah, whatever. And he'd do his thing and get on there. Let me show you some, do something really cool, then move over. But he was not involved in the chat, not involved with the people watching him.
Right.
Fast forward like 3 weeks later, and now he's involved. Now he's talking to them. Now he's kind of showing the other side of him. Numbers are so much better because people will go to you to see what you can do. People will stay if they feel like they're connecting with you. Because it's the same thing with like a raid. People get raids and they're like, 100 people come on a raid, and then 5 minutes later there's like 10 people. Well, what happened? Oh yeah, he has emote only on for the entire time. people want to chat. They don't want to do emote only, or he's not talking to people as they're in. He's not even acknowledging the rate. Like all of these little things are reasons why you're not connecting with the crowd. There's just so many things that you can do, you know. And I just realized you don't have to be an amazing DJ to keep people on your stream. You really don't. You just have to be involved.
I don't think you've ever needed to be an amazing DJ to entertain people in general. I think, and I think that's definitely. There are other aspects. I've always said that those who have no idea what we're doing as DJs on the technical aspect of things, the first compliment we usually get is, "It looks like you're having a good time. It looks like you're having so much fun up there," right? Mm-hmm. And honestly, like that's a great compliment because we're so stressed managing so many moving parts that if we actually look comfortable and look like we're having fun, then we're portraying that successfully, then that is an incredible compliment from somebody who has no idea what the hell we're doing. Right?
Or the guy that's standing there staring at you, and you're like, dude, what are you looking at? And finally you're like, oh, what's going on? Can I help you? He's like, no, I just watch. I love watching you do your thing.
Right.
Like that right there was like the first Twitch user ever. Right. I just love watching you do your thing. Like that's it.
Game face says your mom's. Let's see. Okay, so moving on to number 3, you were saying don't worry about the visuals.
Yeah. I thought that when I first came on that it was the most important part, and then I went above and beyond, you know, and I still want to do those things. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I realized that for a lot of people, all they were caring about was what their screen looked like, what was behind them, you know, what was all the things going around. Like every single person that I knew that was getting on Twitch, they were like, okay, well, so I need the bar up top that tells where my subscribers are. I need the emote wall. Everybody has the emote wall. I need that. And it's like, okay, but First off, your computer can't handle that. It's going to make your stream look like shit. And also, it doesn't matter. How are you? Are you DJing? Are you involved? And the funny thing is I've noticed that like the best streams are the ones where it's just like, oh, like Lainey Love. She's a perfect example. She just does it in her bedroom, you know. And it's like she's always got people. Now, of course, being a woman has its privileges. But you know, you can move over to like a DJ Audio One, who is basic at best. You know, he'll tell you the same thing. He is basic. Like I remember the first time I saw him, I'm like, how in the world is this man getting 160 people on stream?
I've noticed his stream production has gotten better. Like from April to October, you can tell that he is upping the ante as far as his stream production.
Yeah,
but
he's definitely he knows.
Yeah, he's definitely a great example though of personality-driven content taking precedence over anything technical. If your green screen is like Weatherman clean, and you've got some crazy 3D effects going on, but your content itself, the music that you're putting out there, and the personality behind that content is not engaging and relatable, you could have an incredible Marvel level production to your stream and you not keep an audience. And again, that was Buck Rogers. Like every time you'd see he'd go to this whole 3D prism thing and there was like 12 Buck Rogers. It was almost like what's the Marvel movie? The Marvel with the wizard. What's his face? Doctor Strange. It's like that on his stream. And I remember just watching it going, this is amazing. Why don't I care? Because there was nothing to stick around with. Exactly. You know what I mean? That's exactly it. You at least want a story, like you were saying. You want a story that you can relate to, or something there that you're hanging on with. You know what I mean? Like you get what it's there, but like you said, without a level of engagement, without a little bit of humility and a little bit of like, hey, this is who I am. Nobody's gonna stick around. In my opinion.
That's what this is. This is all about. I know it's hard for people to understand this, but it's all about getting to know you. And the people that seem to be the most open are the ones that are getting all of the love, you know, and I think that's the key here. Now there are people that are like professionals, like Miss Ninja to me is a professional, and I'm not sure you'll ever really get into like really knowing who Miss Ninja is, because she's so has her persona like perfect,
Very self-aware and nails it. She's
exactly. Yeah. So I'm not sure that's ever going to happen, but like a lot of other people, the ones I connect with, the ones I find myself watching, and look, there's a lot of DJs out there, but the ones I find myself watching are the ones that are intimate with their channels. You know, if it's just I will not go watch a show where it's some dude playing, you know, the same Little John pop music that's at the nightclub. Like, I don't care about that. You know, I want, if
that's
you're
not succeeding on Twitch.
It's not. If you're not giving me new stuff that like, look, I want the DJ when nobody is at the club and you're playing that stuff that means something to you. That's I would the argue DJ that, I want.
I would argue that aspect is probably one of the two best things to come out of 2020. Is
right.
Creative DJing is important again, and DJing as a creative resource and a resource of exposing new music and music that you're unfamiliar with, and having the DJ be the resource of that has been rejuvenated this year, and I think that's incredible. Yeah. In fact, it's so incredible that I'm rethinking a lot of things as far as where I want to be as a DJ because of it. And then another thing that's amazing from 2020 is me being able to talk with Cleveland Terry on a Wednesday night. This would not have happened a year ago. The connectivity that's become of all of us having our calendars implode back in March and reaching out to anybody and like looking to see, is everybody going through this as well? Like, are we all just fucking losing our shit right now? Because if we are, then let's figure it out together, right? Like, and that's kind of what happened this summer. And it's still happening. It's still growing, right? And you're seeing a lot of these folks who are consistently still pushing it since April, March, you know, all May, June, who are still pushing it, are starting to push through this barrier and break through to a new exposure level on Twitch, which is pretty amazing.
I owe everything. I owe everything that has happened to me over the last few months. It's all because of Twitch. Yeah. I mean, I started making, you know, inroads because of Nam and Mojax and, you know, him bringing me into the den and all that stuff. So that was already starting to happen. But as far as like the connections with the real connections, because I made connections and I was starting to develop relationships, but like personal relationships didn't come until after quarantine kicked in. So my relationships with Pioneer, my relationship with Serato, you know, all of these things, 100% because of Twitch. Had Twitch not been there, would never have made those contacts ever. And like right now, the amount of stuff that's like being shipped to my home to review, all of these things people want me to do, like it's all Twitch. It's all Twitch. You know, the video I did about streaming, the one that everybody always refers to, like, oh, if it wasn't for you, you know, I wouldn't even be streaming. I'm like, geez, I made that thing because I was learning as I was going myself. And I was like, you know what, if I'm learning this, chances are somebody else wants to know too. And like the 3 videos that I did all hit, like the Instagram one, that's like 200,000 views.
Yeah, that one's huge, man. I watched that one, was like, yes.
Huge. And honestly, when I put it out, I didn't think anything of it. It was literally, I need content right now. I need content for the week. Put it out. And I remember like my partner saying, hey man, by the way, you know, people that like talk to me are saying, hey, have you looked at this video by this guy, Cleveland Terry? He's like, yeah, that's my partner. And they're like, oh, you need to watch it. And he's like, and then I looked at them, I'm like, oh my God, this is at like 50,000 views right now. I didn't know what to expect. And he just kept shooting and shooting. Thank you very much. So that kind of put me in the door. And in reality, those videos are the reason that Serato even talked to me, because I was on Jay Espinosa's Serato feed. He was DJing and I jumped on. I'm like, oh, what's going on, guys? And people are like, oh, Cleveland Terry. And I'm like, oh, like Serato, like, you know me? You know, that was weird to me. And then I got a whisper and he was like, yo, man, your video about the S9 and getting the tone sound to go away saved our lives this week. And I'm just like, I had no idea. And then after that, they were like, whatever you need, you let us know. And then that's what started the conversation rolling. So it went from there until like, I have meetings with them and they're like, hey, we really want to get you involved in this and this and this. And it's all because of Twitch. Had Twitch never happened, I'm not sure Serato would have contacted me and said, hey, we saw your YouTube videos. You know, do you want to do some stuff for us? I don't think that would have happened.
Right.
You know, the whole thing with Tweak Music Tips, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
You know, it's just, it's a funny world. And I tell people this, and I'll keep saying this till we leave quarantine. If you are not making use of quarantine, you're not bettering yourself, making new contacts, doing new stuff. If you're just stuck doing the same old thing every single day, you are not optimizing your time. This is the time right now. This is the time to do whatever you want to do in life. This is the time you do it. And I am living proof of this. And all I did was like, stay visible, get on these Twitch streams, talk to people, you know, just stay in the now. And that is key. A lot of people are all like, oh, I'll do it when, I'll do it soon. I'll do it. It's like, first off, you don't need to be DJing to be on Twitch. Right. You know, you can just be on Twitch and you will slowly start to make more contacts.
I would argue that you probably could get further along in Twitch if you didn't set the expectation that you were a DJ show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And you just put it out there as this is me, and part of me is DJing, but there's other parts of me as well.
Exactly.
I feel like that's something that's could be very successful on Twitch.
Well, that's my wake up in Cleveland.
Yep.
You know, that's entirely. I didn't realize what kind of impact the channel would have. But now, you know, I'm averaging like the last couple of weeks, I think I'm hitting like 115, 120, just like stable, like from the start. I'm just like, that's insane. I couldn't get those numbers when I was like, your numbers are good when you DJ. I've noticed like you have really good numbers. Thanks. But for me, I never really got good numbers. 40 to 70 people, but it was never consistent. You know, now when I turn my stream on, there is a consistent amount of people on when I do my talk show.
You're crushing.
They're always on. Yeah. So I'm just like, you can find a niche. Another perfect example. There's a girl, what is her name? She's one of the Snapback moderators. Snapback Live is a old school DJ Twitch feed. And she's been on there being their moderator. And then she would go to other people's channels and then they wanted her to be the moderator and she'd go to other people. So she's moderating all these people. But she's also involved and present. She decided to do her own little talk show. Like the first day she did it, there was like 90 people on her stream.
Wow.
And it's just like, because people are like, we like you. She wasn't a DJ. She was like, I think I want to do a talk show. Easily, 90 people all the time. And they're not talking about anything. And people are on that stream like, we just like you. We just like you. So there's a niche for everybody. You just have to find your niche. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's DJ. Right. You know, I DJ because I like to DJ, but like, I'm like, my numbers are never the same when I DJ. Like, I question even if I should be DJing on Twitch. Mess up my whole whole average.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you there. I'll throw in wrenches for my average all the time. I don't care. I'll stream Street Fighter for 5 people and have a blast with it.
And the funny thing is, it's all arbitrary. Like you might be that person that like the main guys are like, we just like you, your partner. Honestly, I can't say names out loud, but I know several people that are partner just because the guy liked them.
That makes sense. And one thing that folks need to understand as far as the business structure with Twitch goes, partner is great. A lot of partners have the same deal as an affiliate as far as revenue goes. Revenue stream is and so there are different levels of partner. There are some partners who are have a higher CPM on their ad revenue, and they have a higher they make more money per sub. They make more money on everything. And these are special contracts from within Twitch. So there's different levels to this as far as monetization goes. Me personally, I'm just happy with doing this, and I feel like I don't care if I hit partner or not.
And if you're getting 200 to 700 subscribers, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And plus, you're still able to do what you want to do. So I love it. It's important because, for instance, if I turn partner, I can no longer stream to YouTube simultaneously. Like I can post it the day afterwards.
Right, exactly. 24 hours, any content, there's a 24-hour exclusivity on Twitch with your partner for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'm all about goals. And like I was at my goal was always, 20,000 wasn't my goal, but it was, 5,000 and then 10,000 and 15 and 20. And I hit, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. Like I had, I think 6,000 to 7,000 new subscribers over quarantine, which is unheard of.
So wow, you've
YouTube.
More than doubled then.
Yes,
more than doubled.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I was getting 1,000 new subscribers like every other week.
So the curve is legit right now.
Yeah, exactly. So for anybody that's why I'm saying it's like, and it's funny because I have a couple of YouTube guys, friends of mine, that tried to do the same thing, tried to throw out content, and they're like, I'm not seeing the numbers. And it's like, maybe it's your content. Some people don't realize, like, you have to be relevant to what's out there. And I try to be relevant as much as possible because that's actually a trick. Anybody that's starting YouTube, you need to ride the wave of the news cycles. So if a new product comes out, you better be talking about it. You don't necessarily have to have it in your hands. That's where my thoughts videos came from, because Crossfader and Mojax were doing reviews with the hardware in their hands, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm reading the specs. I like this. I don't like that, and it worked. It kept me relevant. And so now it's a different story. But you gotta seize the moment. People don't seize the moment. They think that later on I'll do it when I have a chance. It's like the chance is now. There's never been an easier way to make money right now if you just do a little work.
If you or anybody in the chat wants a really good laugh, I'm not going to give the link out. Find my YouTube channel and scroll all the way down towards the bottom, and you'll see, actually about halfway down, you'll see a video of me reviewing the DDJ P1, and it's really bad. So enjoy that. It's got like 6,000 views too, which is really funny.
That's good though.
Not bad for somebody with 200 subscribers, and not only like 20 when I made that. YouTube's discoverability is weird like that. Let's move through this top 10. So the next thing we have is it's all about cleanliness. Let's do two of them. And the next, it's all about cleanliness. And number 5 is let people see your setup.
By the way, the reason why that's 2 is because I pigeonholed myself and said 10 tips. And then as I was going, I was like, shit, I only have 9 tips. So I had to cut one up to make 10.
I'm with you.
Yeah, but look, cleanliness is important. I only say things that I see for myself. And if I go to somebody's stream and it's a mess, it's dirty, you see everything, like that bothers the hell out of me, because that tells me that you don't really care about yourself. You don't care about presentation. You don't care about the way you look. Then I can't support that. I won't support that. So
I'll stay and watch though, just to clown for a second. Be like, look at this fool. He's got his boxers hanging on the fish tank.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not sticking around for that. You'll just say your piece and go.
Right.
So that was the one part of it. And the other part was I said cleanliness, and I said show your. I think it's show yourself.
The other one was let people see your setup.
Yes. So for instance,
the
like right here.
Yeah.
And I'm zoomed in right now, but see, this is my whole setup.
Yep.
And it's important. I can't tell you how many DJs I have personally seen where it's just up. There's a guy right now, and he literally DJs from here.
Oh, let me find that spot. Let me find that spot. You did something really funny in this video. You already know what I'm talking about. I got to find it now.
I do.
What's going on, everybody? It is your man, Terry. Today we'll be...
Let me find it. Hang on. There's a spot in this video. I'll recreate it where he's talking about
I'm
DJs.
talking about somebody in particular.
Doing this. That live stream.
Yeah, everybody knows. I mean, probably one of my things was MC2J Man was probably my biggest one because it was so extreme that
What's up, Epic?
Yeah, I had to tell him like, yo, man, can you please back up? He's like, and if you ever seen MPJ Man's streams, he is literally like right here. It's weird, but hey, whatever works for him. Hey, it didn't stop him from getting raids from DJ5 and all these other big name DJs. So it works for him.
That's so good. Moving right along, my man Chris, Undecided, with Make Friends Radio, his stream was totally that in the beginning, and I completely thought of him when I saw your video, because he had it cropped a little bit lower. He was probably like shoulders up, but the way that he moves to the music, people were typing in the chat. They're like, I don't know if you're DJing or tapping those underneath the screen.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm trying to. I wonder if that guy's on. And it's weird too. You would think that people would tell their friends. That doesn't work. I'm the biggest person to tell especially my friends. I might not tell everybody, especially if their stream sucks, because sometimes I feel like that guy, because people take things personal. You'll say something like, hey man, you might want to do this, and they're like, whatever, and you're like, okay, sorry. There's this one popular guy that and he was the reason I talked about the mic distorted, because every time he's on, his mic is distorted. I'm like, yo man,
straight clip through his central,
you gotta back off. And he just straight ignored me, like I wasn't saying anything. I was just like, okay, never mind, enjoy your stream. And I left because I'm like, I got my earbuds in, I'm listening to you through my phone. I don't want to hear you screaming in my ear. So you have to, I don't know. All right, I'm venting.
No, I feel you there. I'm such a particular about my audio levels. The first thing I do when we break in is I ask the chat, does everything sound okay?
Right.
And they're the sound check crew. The early arrivals are the sound check crew. Big up to all the sound check crew right now in the chat. They know what's up. We've been here 7 months now. The sound check crew comes in right away. They're there in the chat before I'm even hitting live stream. Sometimes they're already chatting. And they're there with you the whole time. So I appreciate y'all. Big up to early arrivals. But yeah, audio levels are super important. And we'll get into that. Actually, that's another part of your top 10. We're skipping through this a little bit. Number 7. Let's do 6. Number 6. How many cameras do you need? I'll answer that for you. You only need one camera. And then how many cameras do you want? As many as you want to put into your production. But how many do you need? You only need one. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. No, that's about right. I watched this one guy. He had his talk show just recently. He's got his main camera, but then he also had a camera right here, and then he would talk, and then he would switch. And I was like, I kind of like that. I think I want to do that, But do I need that? Definitely not. As long as you have a good quality camera in the front, you're good. Nobody's cares, and you can trick it by having Serato video playing, and you switch to a different thing, or yes, as you're saying, change the look, right there. That to me, that's a totally different shot. So there's ways to trick the people and just have fun with it. But don't worry about it. The more cameras you have, in all honesty, the more processor strain you put on your computer. So it's better to not have as many. Especially some of these video cards. Some of these video cards are crappy, and they will literally destroy your computer.
And also, I would say, just like DJing, producing a stream is an art in itself. Yep. And so there's very levels of interpretation from that. And some people would want to produce something a certain way, and some people would want to produce something another way. And those two ways could be something complex and visually a certain way, or it could be very simple with just maybe your camera by itself, right? And so I think everyone's interpretation is up to them. But you definitely don't need more than one camera. And I would move along to number 7. You and the person with the giant green screen behind him, you don't need a green screen either. And I have run into people because I'm the green screen guy. I'm the roller coaster guy. I'll say it, right? And so like, I get it. People come into me like, I don't want to DJ on your Saturday night show because I feel like my production is subpar. And I'm like, no, you don't need a green screen. I'm doing it because I'm having a laugh with this. Like, I'm not doing it because it's necessary.
Yeah.
I could totally be just fine with having the shot be my living room and us having a laugh also, but I actually have fun producing with the green screen and getting silly with it. But it's not, like I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody has to do it. It's not necessary is the overall point.
And it can be a lot of work to do it right. And that's another thing that people, they don't understand. It's okay because OBS will knock it out. Yeah, they do a good job of knocking it out, but you can still see artifacts. Like, that's why I moved from my green screen. That's why you see this now. I had my green screen when I'm DJing and I was doing like the Matrix one. I did the Matrix one. Like that one, you could have issues. You could have errors because there's so much more going on. It's not about the perfect green screen. It's about the creativeness of what I'm doing. But when I'm doing a talk show and I'm sitting here talking to people and then I pull DJ TLM in and his visuals look absolutely amazing and I got green halo over my head and all of these things, like I'm like, I got to get rid of this. I can't have this. I'm done. I'm out. So, you know, there's a time and a place for green screen. I like doing green screen too because you can do so many cool things with it. Especially green screen gives the feeling of like scale. You know, like I had a couple of friends that were DJing in their room and it was you know, him and his fiance, they were both DJing and it just felt tiny. The moment they got their green screen, the room feels huge now. Is it huge? Same room, you know, but it just
opens
gives
up your
you a different
imagination.
scale.
Right.
Exactly. So I like it for that. Depending on if I'm DJing for other people, I might do a green screen just to not have the same exact backdrop as like my talk show. So maybe I do a green screen there, but like they're not everything, and they put a lot of processing power on your PC too, you know, or your Mac. You know, there's anything you do that changes the dynamics of your stream are going to affect your computer. So you have to realize that.
And one thing you've been touching on too is how people relate to personalities more than a lot of other aspects of your stream. And you could put a lot of your personality into how you decorate your stream background. More so, I would argue, than a green screen. I think people are intrigued by somebody who has a shelf of records back there and like some classic toys on the shelf also, and like other things that define them as a person, right? Yeah. And people can relate to that, you know. And I in a major way, I feel like somebody like DJ Epic in the chat right now. He's an amazing vinyl DJ. And he's got two.
Does he have the vinyl wall?
You got 2 rooms full of vinyl, bro. 2 full bedrooms and a hallway full of the shelves that go to the ceiling, right? And so in his room, he's got
high fidelity.
Exactly, bro. And so in his room, he's in there DJing in his room full of records, doing vinyl sets that would be absolutely impossible in real life unless you want to get a U-Haul and 10 friends to haul all these fucking records. You know what I'm saying? So he's throwing down these sets in this room full of records, and he's got, you know, 120 plus lately in his stream, and he's crushing it. No green screen, an iPhone camera. He's using one MacBook to stream it out. He doesn't need a crazy computer because he's spinning vinyl. So you take DVS completely out of the picture, right? And he's crushing, man. I'm super proud of that guy. Epic and I did Motown on Mondays in Sacramento together for 5 years before this year. We were on our 6th year this year, and so I'm super proud of that guy and all of his accomplishments with his streaming. He's one of the people like one of us. He lost his whole calendar, right? So good on him.
I'll definitely check him out.
Word up. We're almost done.
People, adding people as friends. Follow them. If you add them as a friend, it doesn't do anything. So click on the actual link, click on the info, go to follow, and then go back to the stream. I can't tell you how many friends I have now.
and I'm way late on doing this, but everybody watching right now, if you're on your desktop or your laptop, scroll down underneath this video and you will see a follow button for Cleveland Terry. Go ahead and follow him right there.
Do you have a dynamic on there?
I absolutely do. And also, if you're on your mobile device, there's a green heart on this corner right here. It's right there in this bottom corner. There's a green heart. Press the green heart and you'll be able to follow Cleveland Terry's Twitch on there as well. Big up Darth Vader. How'd that mosh pit go today, bro? Let me know. Darth Vader, I found this this stream app that is a mosh pit app. And everybody in the chat can join the mosh pit by entering !dance. And then after a countdown, the mosh pit goes off and you type !bottle and you can start chucking bottles at people that are in the mosh pit. It's hilarious, right? It's just a funny randomized game, but I immediately thought of Darth Vader with his rock stream. And so I shot that over to him and he was going to test it out today. He said they loved it. Awesome.
Oh, that's dope. I got to see, so which one am I? Who is my character?
I can't see. Let me shrink these guys down. I can see them a little easier. There you are. Cleveland Terry. You're the default ninja. Wiggling you around.
All right, I see.
You can change your avatar by if you scroll down underneath the chat, you'll see stream avatars as one of the little modules, and then you can pick your avatar there. There's a whole bunch of avatars you can choose from.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is where you put the work in.
Thanks,
I don't do any of this stuff.
We go a step further. I have my own avatar. There's a picture of me in here with a green suit on. Where am I at? I have my own custom avatar. There's a few custom avatars in here. No Use for Anger has his own avatar. Entity has his own RoboCop avatar. Let's see, where am I at? I'm looking for me right now. I'm usually walking around in the back somewhere. I'm kind of small. I made myself kind of small. But you can see, look at Entity, he's huge. With the RoboCop, that's amazing. And then this is no use for anger. Where's he at? Come on. Where's he at? Nope. Come on, there you are. There's no use for anger. Yeah, there I am. There's with my green suit on. Hilarious. Yeah, a lot of nerd hours went into developing it, and it's constantly developing. There's little twists every episode. So
yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Appreciate that. Big up to all the chat. I do it for you. All those avatars are so that we know that you're there, and I appreciate you. And let's go ahead and drop some bombs on them right now. Here we go. Mass bomb coming in hot. Oh, it's going to be gnarly. Here they go. Wait, it gets worse. Carpet bomb. Oh, yes. Too much time on my hands, let me tell you.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, keep the chat going, keeps it fun. So I think that's all that really matters.
Appreciate that.
Oh, very cool.
Definitely true.
Yeah. I stopped using OBS because I've been doing everything through the ATEM because I don't have the big PC, and I use my big MacBook for DJing. So I have my 2012 MacBook Pro here, which works, but it's not designed for that kind of stuff. So,
my one thing that I don't like about the ATEM is that it summarizes all of the video sources into one video source.
Yes.
I know that it would be 4 times as expensive, but it would be nice if all 4 HDMI inputs were recognized as 4 individual video sources in like OBS or something like that.
So they don't have that, but now with the ISO, and they're sending me one, I think at the end of the month, you can record all 4 streams independently now.
Well, that's cool.
So I think it's just a matter of time before they do. Because if you, they had a couple of people like open up the ATEM Mini versus the Pro versus the ISO, and they opened it up, and it's like all these things, like all of the processors, like the holes were already there. They just needed to put the processor in. They already knew what they were doing on every single release. Nothing is new here. So yeah, it's the same exact hardware. The board inside is exactly the same. They just took out a processor or didn't put one in yet for the new one. So I think it's a matter of time. I think they're starting to realize how important streaming is. And the biggest complaint for the Pro is, or any of the 8 to minis, is why can't I customize the breakout? I got my picture in picture and I can design that, but the main feed I can't do anything with. And that's a big problem. Like, I should be able to put them side by side if I want. So they're going to have to make some changes to it. And even if they have to say it's a streaming module versus the production line, because nobody buying this is going to be upgrading to the production line at any point. This is for streaming. So treat it as such.
Let's we're running over time, which is totally fine.
Yeah, I gotta make food for my kid. I didn't realize it was gonna go this long.
So let's wrap up. Let's wrap up.
Sure.
The last thing, let's go to the very last thing on your top 10 list, and that is the money will come naturally. Can you just establish or expand on that a little bit for me before we go?
Well, depending on how many people you talk to are involved in Twitch, it's really easy to kind of get sucked into the whole, so-and-so just paid their mortgage with their sub feeds. And you're just like, okay, well, I have like 4 subs, and you want to get to that level. But what you don't realize is the reason that a Miss Ninja has 2,000 subs was, I remember the day she was like, hey guys, not only am I on Facebook, but I'm also on Twitch. You should come over here and hang out with us on Twitch. The sound is better. Everything's better. And she went there before anybody. I mean, yeah, there were the people that have, I've always been on Twitch, whatever. I'm talking about the people that moved from Facebook, YouTube, and so on. So her numbers are the way they are because she has grown her channel. She's proven that it works. So if you get caught up in trying to make money on every stream, trying to get that hype train, trying to get those bits, if that is your only thing, people are going to react negatively to it.
Yeah, they're not going to show up for that.
Yeah, or could you imagine if, okay, so here's a perfect example. I'm not going to name names, but I was on a stream recently, and like you said, you have a goal. You have a number goal that you want to attain. Right. Fine. But he's on his stream and he's like, yeah, we have a goal of 1,000. We're at 990. So we need to see everybody. And for 30 minutes. Oh, we got a 991, 992, 990. And I'm just like, okay, see, I am no longer invested in your stream. I don't care about, because you're making this all about money. What happened to the actual performance? And so that's my thing. It's like, don't worry about, you can have goals and you can call out those goals. If somebody drops 200 subs on you, that's something you want to stop the record for and appreciate. But that's a one-off. That's a one-off. Right. If you're only I'm only on here to get money, because that's what you're saying. I'm only on here to get money. This is my goal. I'm not hitting my goal. So let's go, guys. And who wants to be involved in that?
Yeah, nobody's gonna get behind that. Nobody's gonna get behind that at all. It's not genuine. It's just weasel shit, and it doesn't fly.
You might as well have started a GoFundMe.
Right.
That would have been better suited. Because that's not why I'm on here. And I left his stream, and it literally put a sour taste in my mouth. That was people wonder, all of these things I get just from being on Twitch. There's nothing on here that probably anybody else hasn't experienced. They just didn't articulate it on a video. But everything on there is just from me sitting on Twitch going, well, that's annoying. Well, that's stupid. Well, that's really good. And it's okay. You need to be critical of yourself and of things you see, because you can always improve. You can always find things, even in the dumbest streams, you can find things that will work for yours. A lot of people don't watch any of the gaming streams. They were here first. They're probably doing something that you probably want to look at, even if you don't like gaming.
That's the first thing I did. That's the first thing I did. It's you model after success, right?
Yes.
And so, what is working on Twitch? Well, these Twitch streamers these gamers have been on here for upwards of 5 and 6 years, some of them, right? But just in TV before Twitch. And so you look at these cats that are successful now, and they talk about the glory years of what it was like in the early times when they were all building, right? We're in the glory years of the music category right now, arguably. and you listen to what they're saying, they just spit it out there. They're telling you exactly the mistakes that they made. They're telling you exactly what worked for them. And they're saying all you got to do is just keep doing this. And if your shit is good, people are going to like you. Like, that's all there is to it, right?
Exactly.
Before we go, really quick, Cleveland Terry, thank you so much, man. Honestly, like, this is goals. I did not expect to be talking to somebody of your caliber. Thank you so much. A little bit of my backstory. Yes, I am a drum and bass DJ and producer, but that is something that I did in my 20s. Okay, I pushed it really hard in my 20s. I made it all the way to the EDC stage. I toured the country. I played Nocturnal Wonderland. I played all the big festivals when I was young. Okay, and then I came home and I realized that I like being home a lot better. So I became a club DJ and started moving more into the open format stuff.
Yeah.
During the heyday of like DJ AM and things like that. Right. Fast forward to the last couple of years, I've moved into more of the mobile event space, more corporate events, and more like this year. We're the capital of California. I was planning on doing a lot of school events and some election events and things on the corporate level. Right. So my point is that I don't know how you saw me coming into this. I don't know if you saw me as like some raver DJ or some jungle producer guy that you've never heard of before, but I'll tell you who I am. I am a working mobile DJ who is 41 years old, who has lost their calendar. My bread and butter was school events and mobile gigs, weddings and things like that. And I threw 916 Junglist once a year. It has been a weekly. It has been a big event in the past. It's been a hugely successful event in the past. 916 Junglist has a production, but in the past 10 years, it's been more of an anniversary party. 916 Junglist, my focus is 916 Junglist as a business has been more of an annual party for us to meet as friends. There's a point to this, I promise. What I'm getting at is that I really, as a mobile DJ and as a corporate event producer, appreciate the content that you've been producing on YouTube. I like the angle that you're taking. I like the stories that you're telling. I like the extra effort that you're putting into video production. And I wanted to personally thank you and say, do not stop. Even if shit sucks, please do not stop. Please keep pushing. I would appreciate it if that counts for anything, man. So thank you very much. Seriously.
Oh, I honestly, I really appreciate it. And when I first saw you, and I think I saw you on Tweak Music Tips, and we were talking about like drum and bass, and I remember because I made it a point to stop by your channel because you were on. I was like, let me just see what this guy's about. And that's right, because you were breaking down some of the best drum and bass out there. So then I went to your channel, and then I was like, okay, it's drum and bass. Oh, this makes sense. And then I went back, and you were doing, the dad hip hop,
dad rap.
And then I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, he's not a one trick pony. Like, he's a real DJ. And not that made me gain respect for you, but because I have a love for all music, anybody that can show different sides and deviate from what they're known for is really important to me. That is the God's honest, perfect example of an open format DJ. And so when I saw it, I was like, not only is he got great music choices with this, with the drum and bass, but like the stuff he's playing with the open format, the old school, like he's hitting, and he's actually DJing and actually showing skills, and he's rocking on a 57, and hey, more power to you. So honestly, I would not have even asked, because I was like, hey, I'd like to be on there. I wouldn't have even asked if I didn't think that what you were doing was quality, and so I am a little reluctant to ask a lot of people, but there are some people I just look at and just like, they get it. So I'm so happy to be on here, man. Thank you for having me. Honestly, I appreciate it.
That's huge. Pleasure's all mine, man. Thank you so much. I'll let you cut out of here, and then we're going to raid out. But thank you so much, Cleveland Terry. Get back to cooking dinner for your family. Have a great night. I appreciate your time, and I will be tuning in. Somebody throw a shout out to Cleveland Terry in the chat right now. And before you go, when do you stream next? When is your very next stream?
I will be on tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have Innovator on. So we're going to be going through the history of Innovator and all the stuff they do, and it should be a really cool show. So that's 9 in the morning tomorrow. We typically go 9. The interviews come on about a half hour later. But yeah, 9 to whenever the show stops. So stop on by. I'd appreciate it.
Outstanding. Big up John P. Thanks for the plug. Yo, Cleveland Terry, thank you so much. Go ahead and see you. We'll see you at the next stream at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I'm there for Infiltrator. That's gonna be dope. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, buddy. See you later. Bye.
Yo, so that's going to be it for us tonight at DJ's Not DJing. We're going to be raiding out. Let me see who's on right now. Who do we want to raid? Let's take a look. All right, get ready to type 916. Copy, paste that into your chat right now. T-Pain coming in hot in just a minute. I want to thank everybody. Big up Cleveland Terry. Big up everybody for tuning in. This is the 916 Junglist channel. DJ's Not DJing. This show happens every single Wednesday, starting at 6:16 p.m. I want to thank everybody for locking in. I appreciate y'all. We're going to raid into T-Pain in 5 seconds as soon as I get through this damn ad so I can watch it myself. And we are go. Big up, y'all. Appreciate you.